Today, we find ourselves at the threshold of the next revolution in cancer therapy. This is a journey that started about 40 years ago when Don Thomas and our team of clinical researchers here at the Hutch pioneered bone marrow transplantation as a curative therapy for patients with leukemia, lymphoma, and other hematologic malignancies. That breakthrough has saved thousands of patients every year, is the best example of our power to harness the immune system to cure cancer, and won Don the Nobel Prize. Ever since that initial breakthrough, we've been working hard to understand how we can better harness the immune system to broaden it and make it much more effective. And today, all those pieces are coming together, and we truly see the light at the end of the tunnel. This will be the next revolution in cancer therapy.
Cancer immunotherapy is really revolutionizing the way that we're treating cancer and providing new hope for patients with many different kinds of malignancies. And we've pioneered an approach called adoptive T-cell therapy, where we take T-cells from the patient's body and we re-engineer them and re-infuse those T-cells to essentially create an army of cancer-fighting immune cells. The types of receptors that we introduce into these T-cells are called T-cell receptors or chimeric antigen receptors. The results are simply astounding. We are treating patients with advanced leukemia and lymphoma that have failed every conventional chemotherapy, radiation therapy, including transplants. What's really remarkable about this is that it requires taking the cells from the patient, engineering them in the laboratory, growing them up to relatively small numbers, and giving them a single treatment, one infusion of these cells that takes about 30 minutes to deliver. And within weeks, the patient goes into a complete remission. One of the first patients that was treated on our trial with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, I got a call from his oncologist who was looking after him. This was 4 or 5 days after we'd given him a single infusion of a tiny dose of T cells. The patient had massive growth of lymph nodes in his neck, really literally, pounds of tumor. He was feeling his lymph nodes in his neck and he said, it feels like they're just melting like ice cubes. In my years as an oncologist and as a research scientist, I have never seen a treatment that has that spectacular response rate in its initial testing in patients. We are initiating trials in lung cancer, in some types of breast cancer, in sarcoma, in melanoma, and soon in pancreatic cancer. These are all devastating cancers for which there really are no effective chemotherapies. The opportunities are incredible. We can move this into other common cancers, kidney cancer, colon cancer, and have research programs around trying to develop immunotherapies for those tumors. We are in a unique position. We are incredibly fortunate at Fred Hutch to have the clinical and scientific infrastructure to develop these new therapies and bring them to patients. Unfortunately, research funding for the science that can bring these advances to patients is really not there anymore. This is happening at a time when the opportunities to make advances are unprecedented because of the technologies in genomics and our understanding of the immune system. We can't stop now, and the only way that we are going to be able to make these advances is if we have philanthropic support to do the research, to identify the targets, to do the clinical trials, to understand what works and what doesn't work, and to make this more broadly effective. The time is now. It has never been a greater opportunity to improve the outcome for so many patients with cancer. But we can do it. We've proven it. We are at the precipice of a revolution in cancer treatment based on using immunotherapy.
Scientists at the Fred Hutch are truly world leaders in immunotherapy. We have the facilities, we have the equipment, we have the staff, and most importantly, we have the science. What we need now is more resources to allow us to take all this knowledge and apply it to patients more rapidly and more broadly. Together, we can revolutionize cancer care.